Hi, it's Yile here from Light Your Life. I'm here with my lovely, gorgeous friend, Regina Catuela, and I've asked her to kind of join me in this interview so that we can talk about how she navigates her way through life. She's works in lots of different areas. She's also in New Zealand. But there's just so many different ways of getting through things, getting over things, getting around things, and just kind of having kind of useful tools to help one navigate our way through whatever situation that is. So Regina, if you could tell people about what it is you do, what it is you're playing in, and yeah, how you doing?
Hi. Hi, Eli. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here. Ooh, what am I playing with? Where am I? I'm everywhere and nowhere and here at the same time. I'm Regina Catuela. I am an American expat in New Zealand. People ask me where I'm from, and I usually just say Earth. What am I doing? Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. So I guess I would consider myself a living lighter facilitator, which is just like, what is that? Of course, if you're listening to this, then maybe you can get a sense of what it could be for you. But I guess for me, living lighter is really just an invitation to living a different reality from what we actually think we know, from what we've learned growing up, and just living life in general. I've got different bits of me. I'm a mother of a young girl who is amazingly who she is. She's full on. She's a 3-year-old, but she's amazing. And I also do, what else do I do so much? I teach women Muay Tai kickboxing. And I also, what else do I do?
Work in the digital space as well, yeah, helping people.
I do work in the digital space. Yep. So I help health and wellness businesses amplify their genius in the digital space. So it's really just about being able to, awaken that power within you and access what you actually know and amplify in the digital space.
Nice.
And then I'm also an Access Bars Practitioner.
Cool, which is how we met.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we met at a business networking event. But can you tell us, like, has your lifestyle now in New Zealand, is it very different to like all these things you're doing, how you've been doing for quite a while, or is it something you transition to, and is it dramatically different?
Okay, so I originally moved to New Zealand for a job in the film industry, and really totally different than what I'm doing now, for sure. So I was a programmer, and I supported artists, animators, previs artists, concept artists, just writing small software programs and doing tech support. So totally different, but I was burning out. And I mean, that industry is amazingly fun, but it really takes a toll on you. Hopefully now, maybe things are changing now. And then there's just a point where I realized that I just needed to do something a bit different, because I didn't want to spend my life missing out on birthdays and holidays and just seeing special people and having special moments in my life. And so there's a point where I was just said, okay, well, what do I need to do different? What can I do different? What can I do to, create a lifestyle without having to go into an office?
Yeah. And so was it quite a long, over a long time you came to that realization, or was it kind of like, actually, no, you saw the warning signs, the signals for yourself, whatever that is. And like you said, you were missing out on birthdays, but, were you also physically or mentally tired as well?
In every way possible. But I was, physically, actually, I was probably in the I was in my best shape yet. And I think I was using that to compensate everything else that was kind of going on. So, I think in some sense it was really great. I think there was a defining moment. I think it was kind of something that stretched over time, but there was a defining moment where I was working on a weekend, probably a 70-hour work week. I was looking out the window. It was such a beautiful day. And in Wellington, beautiful days don't always come by all the time. And it being on a Saturday, I was like, oh my God, am I going to be sitting behind my desk on Saturdays on beautiful days missing life? And then I was just thinking of, wow, incidentally, the women, because I worked in a male dominated field, so the wives, their nicknames were widows because they never saw their husbands.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, do I really want this for me?
Okay, so that was your pivot moment. And was it clear to you what you could move into, or was it a bit of a time? Did you have a bit of a break? Or
Yeah, no, I was just kind of doing everything at one time. Like, I like doing. I was trying to build an active wear line because I was doing kickboxing. I was trying to build an active wear line, and then also try to figure out what else there's anything else for me to do beyond what I was doing, where I didn't have to worry about.
That's interesting, because I think a lot of people out there watching maybe not make that jump because they feel like they have to figure it out before they do it, or they think it's I mean, I know definitely when I was working in IT, it was just like this, what is it going to look like before I jump? But it sounds like there's other ways where you can dabble into things and like work with your hobbies and the things you love, and then build those things up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be this big step what we make it out to be. Was that the case for you? Or?
We took a huge step because I quit my job and then we traveled, but it definitely is not something that I would recommend right away. I would plan a bit better. Mind you, I feel like the universe supported me at every step of the way. So, I mean, I think it comes down to just doing something. And because it's just like when you're flying an airplane, this is an analogy that I use quite often, is like you're in an airplane, they've got, I don't know what they use, their GPS system or whatever, or you're in a car. Well, let's just say you're airplane and you know where you want to get to, but when you're in the air, you may not necessarily be going in a straight line. You're just going to be course correcting. The only way for you to be able to course correct is to be able to just be doing stuff. And that's kind of similar to like the digital stuff I do with content, is that people are afraid to put, especially a lot of like holistic practitioners or healers, that that the digital space is good for you or will help you, but people are afraid to put themselves out there. But then you can't really organize what you want to do in your head. You just kind of have to put everything out there and do it. Then you can be like, okay, this is what I want to do. No, this isn't what I want to do. What do I need to do different, or should I keep on going?
That's a really good point. Just to, like you said, just do it, just go out and do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, or otherwise you kind of keep working behind the scenes and not move forward. But if you just go and see what responses people get, then you can refine. I think that people maybe tend to shy away from that for fear of being judged on that thing, or you go, oh no, I didn't make it.
Well, and another bit of perspective too is that we tend to compare our chapter 1s to people's chapter 10s in our books. So it's like, well, you never know. You don't know where they were at chapter 1. Your first time of doing something, you're not going to be perfect ever. I mean, you're going to be perfect in your own way, but whatever you perceive to be perfect is not going to be that first time. And it's
that was a good analogy there. It's a really strong visual, comparing your chapter 1s to someone's chapter 10. So what are some of the inspired steps you took? Like you said, you kind of just did it anyway, but were there kind of some inspired aha moments that you took to get where you are now?
I guess there's quite a few. And so I think one of them is to find, sometimes you don't necessarily know what direction you want to head towards, but then you get a sense of certain things or certain people that give you that kind of juicy, yummy feeling where you're like, oh, I'd like more of that, please. So even if it's like someone that you admire for what they're doing. So for me, it was a lady who was living the lifestyle that I thought looked pretty amazing, in her bathing suit, doing conferences overseas in Puerto Rico, traveling with her family. For me, that was like, oh, okay, well, what is she doing? What do I need to do to get there? So it's really just finding things and people that give you that feeling like, yes, I want to do that, or yes, I like that feeling. And then just moving towards that direction, just kind of trying to see, okay, well, what's the next steps I need to take to be able to get towards that direction? and then doing it.
Nice. And so is there anything you expected certain things to look like, but they didn't kind of end up looking like that at all? Like, yeah, I'm going to live like that. For example, that woman's like, yeah, I really want her lifestyle. And you kind of like, okay, I'll do all the things that looks like she's doing. I'll do that. Is there anything that kind of didn't turn out how you thought it would?
Oh, absolutely. Like there's that whole, the grass is always green on the other side. I think you can make the grass greener where you actually are. But she actually ended up being my mentor, and we traveled with her and we taught classes, conferences together, and I learned from her and all that stuff. And then there was just this dream lifestyle of traveling with your family, or it was just me and my husband at the time. But it comes with its own challenges as well. So I guess sometimes you think if I guess at the time before I started traveling, I was thinking of the issues that I had and how I wanted to do that, without thinking of, oh, well, there's going to be a trade-off with certain things. I'm still going to have to go through my challenges too. So.
Wow. And did you have tools at the time, or, what tools would you use at that time to kind of help you break through those challenging moments?
Just realizing that, I guess some of the things that I was thinking about is, well, thinking of the things that were going really well for me, and knowing that whatever like vision I had in my head as my dream, and back then, as long as I'm moving towards it, then the everyday challenges are actually worth it, because it's what's helping me grow and get to the next level.
Nice, good reminder. Just focusing on what's working well, and the attitude of gratitude, and keeping your eye on the prize, as it were. And it's really interesting how you're saying that, even though that the thing with the women, that it didn't kind of work out how you think it would work out, but it kind of worked out in a totally different way that you got to.
Totally.
That's amazing. I think that's the other learning of those explorers of consciousness, is that sometimes we have to let go of the how things show up, and be open to how things can show up in a different way. Like so the universe can deliver and support you in so many different ways. And
so many. And it's just so strange. Like right now I'm living in a small provincial town on the west coast of New Zealand. Like I never expected to be here. I'm a city girl and I'm in this like tiny town. But my family is thriving, and how does it get any better than that? I mean,
absolutely. So what, like, if you were to give a piece of advice to other people, the other explorers of consciousness out there, what would that be, like, to help them navigate their way through the sticky stuff?
Get your bars run.
Get your bars run, yes.
Get your bars run. If that's not available, especially, you might be confined to your home for whatever reason, or unable to get your bars run. Find a way to connect to you. You have the answers, and trust that. And I don't know, find a friend, find someone who can inspire you to take the next step.
Nice. Yeah, it's like those people you meet on the road. Yeah.
Or sometimes
go on.
Oh, sometimes I'll say to myself, what would Eli do?
And I'll be sitting there going, what would Regina do? That's so true, to have friends that uplift and inspire you. That I remember asking that was an ask for myself, to go, I got to a point where it was like a demand, like, I am only going to have people in life that uplift and expand my level of consciousness, and so they're kind of elevating rather than like,
gosh,
here's my close friends. Yeah,
totally.
And for those that don't know, bars, we're talking about getting your bars run, is like a hands-on modality, body process that helps release some of that sticky stuff we're talking about. So the people often affectionately refer to the term cranky pants. If you're feeling a little bit like, a little bit head fog and just kind of feel like you're getting stuck or looping, this body process really helps release some of that charge and creates more space. And we definitely, I just had my bars run last night. I feel so much better. But yeah, as Regina said, if you don't have that, connect with people that inspire you, and we can still this on, especially during lockdown. Actually, that's one of the things I want to ask Regina, is that since because now we're coming out of it a little bit more in terms of lockdown, but when the lockdown happened, did you have to change anything for you in terms of what you were doing and your businesses, or even how you operated with your family?
Yeah, all of the above. I think we were at an advantage because our lifestyle kind of, for the most part, didn't change that much, except for the fact that our daughter was home. So it's just the lack of time to do the things that I actually wanted to do, and then the energy that I was using for the family. It really took a toll. But I think that it also gave me a chance to think of what I can do differently. How, instead of working more, how can I work smarter? And I guess there was just a lot more planning that I needed to do. And just even up until last week, I have kind of lost sight of myself and what I wanted. So now, and just getting back into what I truly want. So if it just means that you need to just stop and not do anything, then by all means do it.
So yeah, what fun, because you mentioned about connecting with yourself, what fun ways are you using, or what ways are you using to help you do that?
Well, unfortunately, my husband doesn't run bars, so I'll run a couple of my own. But I think just in general is, for me, body movement is huge. So it's keeping my body moving, eating better. I've been on a nutrition challenge for 6 weeks. So where a lot of people have been binge drinking and binge eating, I've actually lost weight, and my body is a bit cleaner. So that's really cool. That's actually helped a bit. And then just meditating. But really, I think one of the biggest things, at least for me this year, and this might sound a bit weird for some of you, it might not be weird at all, is one of my goals this year was to talk to plants.
Oh, nice.
And so I'll just kind of stand and look at the trees and thank the trees for their support and wonder what kind of medicine they are to me. And just do that in my garden and walk around the backyard, or when we're just walking outside, looking at the clouds and the energy from the sun, and what kind of contribution can it be to me, and
the birds, I can
thank
hear
it. And the birds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's really important that we have that communion and connection and dialogue with the plants. We're so lucky here in New Zealand to be able to do that. And I know that you're now planted in a home now where you're growing vegetables and
trying to city girl
having a new conversation with plants and whatnot. That's fantastic. That's a really good tip for people out there who maybe used to do it and have forgotten. It's just that connection with the land and the plants. So true. So are you exploring anything new? What themes are you exploring now that are taking you to your edge, apart from the talking to the plants? Is there anything else that you're exploring? Or you would like to explore?
Exploring. I think really, what themes am I playing with now? Being okay with everything that I'm doing. And even if there's some things that I will require to let go, one of the questions that I'm constantly asking myself is, what can I add to my life, my business, that'll create way too much ease for me, my body, and my family?
Well, nice question.
Yeah, just to be able to do the things that I want. And I had a chat conversation with a friend this morning, and I was basically saying that I was getting so much anxiety because I'm asking myself, is this what do I want to do? Is this what I want to do? Just getting into my head space. And then I just had a little conversation with her, and I was like, oh, you know what? Thank you so much, because you just reminded me why I'm actually doing what I'm doing. And that even though all of the things that I'm doing are seemingly separate, they're actually one, and they lead to a bigger purpose. So it's just, I guess really also asking for the support to be able to keep on going, or seeing what I need to add to whatever I'm doing.
That's a
keep
really
going.
good reminder. Is that what some people call like your why in life? Is that a term you use?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. Because I ultimately, I want to tell my family story, and everything that I'm doing leads up to that. So that is my why.
Nice.
Yeah, or one of my whys. What's
And
your why?
what's my why? Oh gosh, to know that, to let people know that that choice and change is totally possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we can live a better, that we can live a greater life. We don't have to live on survival mode. We do have the opportunity to thrive. It sounds really cheesy, but it's that I came from a background of my dialogue in my head was like, it's not possible, to now shifting to, my gosh, everything's possible, anything's possible. Totally. So what does and like I use the term exploring consciousness as what I feel like I'm doing, but what about you? What does exploring consciousness mean to you, if anything at all?
Exploring consciousness. Exploring consciousness is being curious and questioning everything, questioning what's actually right for you, and just seeing what else is possible. Like, what else is there beyond this? What more is out there? Like, I've always had this like this belief, and some of you might think it's a bit weird, but it's like, I really truly believe that people, I mean, we're all superhuman. Like, we have these superhuman abilities, and you might think that I'm just crazy. Some of you won't. But I really there's just moments of miracles that I experience daily, where I'm just like, yes, I knew it. Like, these things, and we have it in us. It's like we do have these abilities that we have not used. We only use 10% of our brains.
That is so true. I like that. Yeah, I know that energy. Like, I'm smiling when you're talking about, there's something else that's possible. And I can't remember who said it, but I really like the term, like, if you can think it, it's possible. If you're already kind of managing it, dreaming it, visualizing it, it's like you're already tapping into that energy of knowing it's possible. And it's so cool, like you said, when someone goes, yeah, I saw that too, and you're like, oh yeah.
It's like that movie. Have you ever seen that movie, Lucy, I think it's called?
Yes.
Lucy?
Yeah.
They just showed it on TV the other week. So.
That is an awesome movie, and might have to rewatch that about who's possible. So what do you have any tips or recommendation in terms of books and resources that you can that you use or can recommend to our viewers?
I love the Access Consciousness books and courses. They're pretty amazing. They really just open your eyes so much more. But I think just the books that I've been reading lately, or listening to and reading.
I know books are kind of like totally out now.
The phone that I've been reading. No. So I've been kind of listening to a couple of books by a couple. What's her name? Lena Stevens and her husband. Sorry, can I look at it really quick?
Yeah, sure. And we can also share the link on the on the posting.
The first thing that came up was The Right Riches for Me by Gary Douglas. So Jose Luis Stevens and Lena Stevens, and they are shamans. And so the Power Path the power path training and the meditations for the inner shaman they're what I'm kind of listening to now and using for meditation, and just the tools, which incidentally are actually quite not similar, but really aligned with a lot of the Access Consciousness tools, which I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. There's differences. You just kind of pick and choose what works for you, but those are kind of some of the books right now to be able to, for me, just kind of come back to myself for now.
Nice. I'll definitely check it out. We can share the links in the video below. What else is great? Yeah, how can people contact you?
Oh my gosh. Close your eyes and meditate. Thinking of me. Okay. How can you contact me? So you can either contact me at hello@reginapaula.com. You can find me at on Facebook at Living Lighter with Regina Paula, which I think is facebook.com/Regina Paula CF. Yeah.
We're sharing the links. I was say, what are you? So I guess with like in New Zealand, we've been announced level 2.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to mention in terms of what you're offering in your many different hats and your businesses?
Yeah. Well, so if you want, so I think I'm going to start up another 30-day fitness challenge for the kickboxing. It's really just fitness, but I just really want to get back into it. We just finished one. And so if you're interested in doing that, then you can go to Reyna, REYNA.co.nz. That's .co.nz or NZ if you're American, /30 days. And it's really just to get your body moving, starting off slow, get your body moving. And I've got a Facebook group for support. And
exciting.
What else? If you're in health and wellness and you really want to be able to get into the digital space, amplify your genius in the digital space, connect with me as well. I do discovery sessions and may give you a bit of a discount here for being here.
Nice.
Or free. How can you contact me there?
We'll share it in the link.
We'll share it. Email me, hello@reginapaula.com. PAULA.
There you go. Cool. Anything else? Like so many
there's just so much.
So much. That's exciting. Well, thank you so much, Regina, for joining me. God, that felt like it went really quickly. But there's so much you have to offer in terms of tools, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally.
You as well. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. It's a real pleasure, a real ease. So get in touch with Regina, and obviously look out for more conversations with. I've got a few people lined up to offer more tips and tools from other parts of the globe. Just keep an eye out for that, and I'll see you again soon. All right. Bye.
Bye.
On this Zoom? Yes, I looked around. You suggest.